Hey guys, welcome back to Indirect Knowledge. So today's reading is for Kelly, and Kelly wants to know, will things work out with her ex-boyfriend, Scotty? And I've been thinking about this question for a little bit now, just kind of picking up kind of where I feel and stuff. Here's the thing though, like when a question like this comes at you, you have to be very careful because it's so easy to generalize things or to get in your head as far as generalizations go. So when it comes to sometimes like when you're getting like intuitive messages or psychic messages that are coming, you have to really get out of the way of your conscious monkey brain and let yourself get more in the flow of just, kind of letting all that stuff kind of go by the wayside. So it's too easy in life to have opinions, to have, like I said, to generalize. And when I say generalize, all I'm really saying is to make generalized opinions or assumptions about things. And it's not a good thing to do because sometimes it's completely off base. It's baseless and it doesn't, it does an injustice to the client, to the person the querent, the person you're doing the reading for. And so I don't like to do that. And so, let me just give you kind of an example of what I mean first before we get into the reading. So oftentimes when we think of relationships and we think of past relationships, we have to think in terms of our mind, there was probably a reason why a relationship didn't make it or why it's an ex relationship, right? And so oftentimes we'll get in our head about things and make these assumptions that say, well, if it didn't work the first time, probably not going to work the second time, right? But that's not true. It doesn't mean that it's true. That's kind of baseless. Just because things didn't work out the first go round doesn't mean that they won't happen in a nice way the second go round. Why do I say this? Because there's so many times in life where a circumstance or a situation didn't happen for one reason or another. And it could be that it just was off timing. Maybe, two people are going in two different directions, but maybe the timing is better now. I mean, you just never know. Of course, there's always those other types of situations where, like, if you're with someone and, they're a habitual cheater and they're cheating on you time and time again, to take them back, it's sort of like, you're taking a chance with their repeated behavior patterns. And oftentimes those habits, it's hard to break them. And even if you can break them for a period of time, it doesn't mean you're going to break them indefinitely. So the old adage, once a cheater, always a cheater, something along those lines, there may be some truth to that. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to make assumptions. I'm just here to, intuit what I get. And so I'm really kind of a third party that's really objective. But ironically enough, when I'm doing objective tarot readings, I'm also getting things very intuitively, which some people might argue is not so objective. But getting the answers or coming through and getting things to come through and stuff like that, it's more about like kind of a release. It's sort of like just letting go, to be completely objective, to be completely paused on my critical thinking and that type of thing. And so I really have to do that. And so to do that, oftentimes it requires a little bit of just, decompressing, really focusing in on the question, really narrowing the attention around the question, and then just letting go of all negativity, skepticism, any kind of thing that might be hindering the reading. And then, and only then, am I really in a good space to really be able to take action and to really do the reading and do it in the most meaningful way possible. And in those circumstances, in those instances, the cards really do just speak to me, and they speak volumes. So let's continue here, and let's go ahead and do a reading for Kelly and find this out. Now, I could do a simple yes or no question on that and just, basically come up with an answer and stuff, but really there'd be no that's sort of like taking a 50-50 on, in my opinion. Or we can let the cards kind of give us some more insight or information. And that's really what I want to do with this reading. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards here really nicely. And concentrating on the question here. Are things going to work out with Scotty the second go round or the next go round? This go round. So this reading, we're just going to do our 7-card reading. This is pretty much my go-to standard reading that I like to do. It really gets the root of everything, and it really does provide, in my opinion, some of the best advice that I can give someone. So in my opinion, that's really what people are wanting, are answers, solutions. It helps me derive some kind of a basis for like timeline, that kind of thing. And then it just really works really nicely. So it's pretty much my go-to, but sometimes I deviate. Last reading we deviated. We went with the moon reading actually, and that was pretty fascinating. We got a lot of information that way. A little 6-card reading. The 7-card is pretty much what I need most of the time to do a very accurate tarot card reading. And oftentimes I don't even need the cards, to be honest with you. I mean, sometimes the answers and the intuition just come directly inside my mind, and I just, it's like a channel that opens up and I get the answers. So, all right, we've shuffled these cards pretty good. We're just going to cut these cards, concentrating on the question for Kelly. And all right, so let me just explain for those of you that haven't seen the channel and don't really see the way that I operate oftentimes with these. So I got my tarot cards here, shuffle them, cut them, been thinking about the question. I'm sort of in this trance state, sort of in a sense, and it's really where a lot of the intuition and things come about. What I do is I do a past, present, future, just to kind of get an understanding. Those are the first 3 cards, past, present, future, just to get kind of an idea of where Kelly is and where things were concerning the circumstances with Scotty. Then I really try to find what the key to the matter is, or in my what I often call the answer card. Then I look at the energy. The energy is really where I get a lot of psychic, it starts to come about. I start to get a lot of things, and it's really the energy surrounding whatever the current situation is. And then I like to look and see where the person is that's asking for the reading. In this case, it's Kelly. And so I kind of find out where Kelly's mind is and kind of what her thoughts are. And I can kind of get an understanding, and that helps me give her a better understanding. And then finally we get the outcome. That's really what the final deal is. And then we use that along with our answer to really be able to kind of gain some clarity and insight into the whole situation for Kelly. So we'll go ahead and start. The first card is going to be the past. So the past is the Queen of Swords. The queens are all about influence. Okay, so when you see a queen come up in a reading, I want you to think about influence, people that are influential. So how you interact with other people, how you interact with yourself. It's like what kind of influence is going on. The swords are all about mental influence. So in this case, the queen is representing in the sword is mental influence. So it's influence over mind, over the mind. This can be, as far as the mental goes, it can be intellectual, it can be intuitive, it can be perceptive. Oftentimes it's about oftentimes it's about an intellectual level of communication that's going on. So it's influencing people kind of in an intellectual way. So when you think of the intellect, you think of kind of the critical side of things. You're thinking of things in terms of what you see is what you get. We're making uh, educated guesses, scientific guesses, that kind of thing. But let's continue. Wow. Now we get the Page of Cups. So we're getting some court cards here. This is a current situation. Page of Cups. Page of Cups. Pages are all about messages. They're the messengers in the tarot cards. Cups are about relationships. So in this case, right now, this is a message about relationships. And that makes sense based on the question being asked. So this is about potentiality. So it's a message about the potential of something. And when you get the Page of Cups that comes up, oftentimes it's about emotional and spiritual potential. Oftentimes we get intuitive messages that create kind of that emotional response within us, within you, makes you feel something. So right now, Kelly's feeling something for Scotty. So in the future is usually about, roughly about 3 of I was just reading, so cup of tea with $3 worth sugar with cookies. Hello. Hey, it's good to have somebody chime in on the channel. So welcome. Also, so we have, it's usually about 3 months out is where I'm calibrated at. So for Kelly here, about 3 months out, we have the Tower card. Okay. You can look at that card and pretty much get a little understanding of that. It doesn't look like a really great card, does it? You got this tower, you got lightning striking it, you got the fall of people, everything's just coming down around you, and it's happening really quickly, really suddenly. And that's really what the Tower card represents. It's the Tower is the Tower asks us this question, or is getting this information out there to us to really challenge us and challenge our beliefs, our ideology. And those ideologies, those beliefs, they can, in a minute, be challenged and be eradicated. So it's like when you see the Tower in a reading, it's like whatever ideas or beliefs or whatever you've got that you've been firmly holding on to, and this can be like substantive as well. Like it could be a relationship, like within this case, for example. But just in the general sense, when you think of towers, you think of just like your ideology, beliefs, things you've really held on to, things that you felt really secure in. Those things just go by the wayside, and it happens just like that. So, I mean, I want you to think, just to put it into perspective for you, as far as like kind of the dynamicness of this. Oh, I'm sorry, cup of tea with $3 worth of sugar. This is a reading I'm doing for Kelly. She just wanted to basically know, are things going to work out with her and her ex-boyfriend, Scotty? And so that's kind of what we're doing here. So yeah, if you get anything intuitively, or if you're into this kind of thing, feel welcome to chime in also. I mean, I'm sure Kelly would love to hear multiple perspectives here, so please do that. I'd love to hear what other people have to say on things, as long as we keep it nice, of course. Got to keep things positive. But anyway, so when you think of the Tower, I want you to think of something like this. It could be like, maybe you just went out and you built a brand new home, right? And you're in that home, and a year goes by, and you're just like, yes, I love my home. Everything is great. And then all of a sudden, you go on a quick little vacation for like 2 days over a weekend, and then you come back, and your home is gone. Something happened. It maybe got struck by lightning or something, and now it's no longer there. The fire department had to come and stuff, and now everything you own, everything that you have, everything that was in that house, everything that was so meaningful to you is gone in an instant. And it's very disheartening. And so oftentimes when you see this tarot card come up, this Tower, it's really a challenge to your beliefs, your ideology, your attachments. It's really telling you that, it's putting things into a different perspective for you. It's changing your ideas about the way the world is. It changes your perception on your own identity. In fact, it can really hit hard. But in this particular case, we're talking about Scotty and the relationship and all. So this is just basically letting me know that whatever's going on in your life, whatever happens with you and Scotty for the short-term period of time, within around 3 months or so and stuff, you're going to start something is just going to come to challenge all of that. It's going to happen, pretty surprisingly. It's going to surprise the crap out of you, basically, to put it bluntly. So let's look at the answer card. So this is the 8 of Pentacles. And that's your answer card for this. So the 8 of Pentacles is about, I always like to think of it as like progress through practice. So, it's like we have these training wheels on. If you keep riding that bicycle, eventually you're going to be able to ride it without the training wheels. That's progress through practice. It's about refining your skills. Just overall becoming better at who you are and the decisions that you make and whatever skills that you've got. It's, it's about learning. We do things repetitively. Eventually we learn from our mistakes. And that's what the answer to this is. So I think by now, we're only about halfway through here, maybe a little over halfway through on the reading, but we're already getting quite a bit of insight. So I don't really even have to finish the thing probably for you to understand kind of what the answer is here. But let's continue anyway so that we can get a better idea of things. So next we have this is kind of like the energy surrounding that Page of Cups. And ironically, you get the Wish card. We'll explain this in more detail here. The Wish card is basically like the 10 of Cups, or sorry, 9 of Cups is really about realizing things. It's getting what it is that you really want. 9 symbolizes the moon, and moons represent often endings and completions. Moons can also be very hypnotizing, or you get caught up in the moment of things. But this is the Wish card. So whatever you wish is what you're going to get. It's really the energy that's surrounding that cup. So whatever you're wanting in that relationship, whatever it is you're seeking, yeah, you're going to get it. This is also a card about generosity. It says basically saying that, you have a generous spirit. Universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is rewarding you now, letting you have your way. So as far as like where you're at and everything like that, mindset wise, everything's coming down to judgment. Now this is really the attitude card in this particular reading. So this is sort of like just, judgment's about revelation, things being revealed. It's basically a way for you to reconcile the past. That's what you're trying to do, is reconcile the past. And basically learn the lessons that the past has to teach you. Let's look at the outcome. So we have the King of Pentacles. Okay. So Kings, well, we talked earlier, like in the very beginning of this reading, the very first card, which was the past, you had the Queen of Swords. Okay. And we said that queens were all about influence, right? So it's very subtle. Queens can do a lot of work behind the scenes in order to get basically what it is that they want. They have a way of wielding power over kings or whoever is in control. They themselves can be in control, in fact. But the way that they present information and put things out is usually, like in the tarot, it's really represented as subtlety. It's sort of like, I can get whatever I want. I'm always having good luck getting what I'm wanting because I've learned to master the power of communication and indirect communication of that. So I can talk my way into things and persuade, but I don't have to do it so directly. Now we skip over to the last card here, our outcome card, and this is the King of Pentacles. In the King of Pentacles, kings are all about authority. They're an authority figure. It's like paternalistic type of energy. this authority is about creating foundations, like, and the King of Pentacles in particular, because we're talking about groundedness, materialism, money, that type of thing. It's about material authority. So having authority over materiality. Um, Basically, this particular king uses his wealth to basically take care of other people, and is good at attracting wealth. Um, as far as getting the resources that the king wants, he's pretty good at doing that. He's also just a little bit materialistic as well, which is something that you would probably expect with a king. So that's really what the outcome of this is all about. Taking care of other people, probably with money, resources, things on that end. And it could be that, just maybe kind of picking up here a little bit, that maybe, Kelly, you're kind of the giver in the relationship in terms of, kind of where you're at with things. And kind of, as far as the answer to that goes, it's about kind of refining your skills, being better at the decisions and things that you do. You can take care of other people, and Scotty included, in fact. And that may have been something that, and definitely, the energy there is getting what you want. The wish card, good cards. I mean, you have pretty good cards, but basically, what the cards are also saying is that it's basically saying here to you that yes, you and Scotty can get together, things can work out for a time, but you have to anticipate that somewhere down the line, probably about the time that the relationship becomes comfortable and you guys are really kind of like in the zone and everything's going great, that something is going to come and sabotage it. I'm sorry about that little noise, little message. Something is probably going to come and sabotage it, or at least challenge the relationship in some dynamic way that's going to really just, shock you. Doesn't mean that it won't work out completely, but it doesn't look so good, as far as that goes. But the answer to making things work, if that's something that interests you, is that you just have to be willing to be the giver in the relationship. And in order to be the giver, the answer to that is that you need to refine your skills, the ways in which you make money, the ways in which you do what you do, how you communicate, this kind of thing. And then, of course, as far as where you're at mentally and stuff like that with this Judgment card, it's about revelations, just trying to learn from maybe past mistakes so that you don't make the same mistakes twice, or fall into the same kind of thinking that you had fallen into before. So the relationship with this particular reading can really go either way. Yes, I mean, you guys can work it out and it will work for a while, but it looks like somewhere down the line that things are going to blow up again. Whatever happened in the past could be a repeat of that. I'm really kind of picking up that it could just be something that's just going to really just like it could just be a change in your own ideas about what relationships should be like, or should look like. Something's going to come and challenge the way that you look at things. It could be another person coming into your life. In fact, it's kind of what I'm picking up here. And it may be somebody that's coming into your life that you never in a million years would ever imagine would have such an effect on you emotionally and mentally. And it could be a very good relationship, even though it's going to be maybe quite different than you and Scotty. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting here. But overall, I mean, you've got some skills, you know, you've got some things to learn, but refining these skills and kind of keeping that as sort of your center, your focus, is going to do you really good later on. Because when things do kind of turn on their head or turn upside down for you, you're going to still have these skills and this understanding of the stuff that you've been learning and kind of, you know, honing your focus on. That's not going to leave you. That's not going to, like, you know, they can't take that away from you, kind of thing. It's like when all else goes away, the lessons and the understandings and the knowledge and the learnings and things that you've attained, those things you can always use to get right back up on your feet, you know, to help the situation out. And that's what this is really saying, is the answer for your particular situation here with Scotty. And I'm thinking possibly this future relationship that's going to be coming into your life kind of unexpectedly. And I think that's really what the Tower is getting at. Had we not done this tarot card reading for you, probably this would have been the case. And then a couple months down the line here, 2, 3, 4 months, then probably this new relationship would come in, and it would really kind of, like, you know, challenge a lot of your core beliefs, your core thinking and things, and get you thinking in a different direction. And you wouldn't have any hindsight about that. But because we're doing the reading, you're getting that information now so that you can kind of prepare for that and, you know, decide what choices you want to make. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So anyway, I hope that this tarot card reading has been helpful to you. If anybody else would like to chime in, or if anybody has thoughts or anything that they'd like to share with Kelly as far as the reading goes. We had the Queen of Swords as the past. We had the Page of Cups as the immediate present here. Tower card is what's coming down the line a little bit. The energy surrounding the Page of Cups right now, this relationship thing she's thinking about here with Scotty, is that, yeah, she can definitely have the relationship if she wants it. It's definitely there. And will it work out? On some level it will, yeah. But then again, there's that revelation of things to come, that judgment, or the, you know, can I forgive myself? Can I forgive him? Something along those lines. Or is it just, is the past the past? Is it time just to let go? And I think that's really where Kelly's trying to get confirmation on it, is, am I able to just let go of the past and let the future take care of itself? The answer is yeah, I think you can do that, but just expect that somewhere down the line, history may either repeat itself, something is going to come along, and it's just going to really, you know, I don't want to say catastrophic, because that's a little leaning too much in one direction, but it's just going to really kind of shake your beliefs up a little bit, shake your understanding of things, shake your world up a little bit, okay? And when it does, a lot of the things that you're attached to, a lot of the things that you're confirmly convicted about, and those things will be, like, you know, kind of a moot point at that point. So, but the outcome is good. I mean, you'll still be the one on top. You know, you'll still have the overall authority, and you'll still be financially in good shape, and things like that will be good, and you'll still be able to be very attractive and attract new people into your life, and so on and so forth. But that's the reading. All right, guys, so thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Always love to have extra subscribers. Also, if you want, hit the bell notification below this video. That will get you notification every time we do a new reading, which is relatively often. And then if you have any thoughts, ideas, any advice, or anything that you'd like to share with Kelly in the comment section below the video, please, please, please share that information. But just let's be nice. I mean, I try to keep the channel really positive, even when things are bleak in a reading, which I'm not saying that's the case with this reading. It's not. But like in other readings I've done, we want to keep things positive. We want to uplift people, not bring people down. You know, that's really what the whole name of the game is here. So, but anyways, thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you guys on the next episode of Indirect Knowledge. Thank you.